All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for braving the weather. I know the roads probably weren't the best for some of you, but thanks for coming. I'd like to welcome you to the Grasslands Federal Credit Union annual meeting. And we do have a quorum, a little lighter than normal with the weather, but we have 93 adults and 9 children. So, we should probably take a moment and let's thank the staff here at the CCM for putting on the lunch for us. With that, I'll turn it over to Patsy for reading of the annual minutes.
The 66th annual meeting of the Grasslands Federal Credit Union was held on Wednesday, March 9th, 2022 at the Circle Country Market Banquet Room following a meal served to members and guests. President Kurt Voss called the meeting to order at 1 p.m. A quorum was met with 118 adults and 6 children present. Kurt thanked the Circle Country Market staff for the wonderful meal. Minutes of the 65th annual meeting were read by Secretary Patsy White. Kurt called for corrections and changes to the minutes. Hearing none, Ruth Hinland moved to approve the minutes as read. Ruth Clarence seconded the motion. Motion carried. The President's report was presented by Kurt Voss. He noted some of our financial trends, including a 20% growth in assets and stagnant loan growth, a trend common among credit union peers in our state and nationally. He thanked employees for all of their service and noted the recent and upcoming retirements of Nancy Ulrich and Diane Brody. A field of membership expansion request was made official in 2021, adding 5 more counties to our service area, allowing us to now serve all of eastern Montana. He reported that the board paid out a 1.75% share bonus dividend in December and returned a 1.75% of all loan interest paid by borrowers, one of the largest dividends and loan interest refunds we have ever returned to the members, due in part to a strong financial year with grant income and Paycheck Protection Program or origination fees. He reported that the nominating committee of Gary Johnson, Patty Shipman, and Diane Brody nominated Kurt Voss and Patsy White for the 2 open board positions. There were no nominating petitions filed by any members, and as such, Kurt and Patsy were elected by acclamation. Cash door prizes were awarded. Emily Goldberg presented the manager's report. The December 31st, 2021 financials for Grasslands Federal Credit Union were reviewed, and the membership was reminded that financials are always posted in the lobby, generally by the 10th of each month. The CDFI grant income was reviewed, and it was noted that they were recognized as income and placed in regular reserves in 2021, but the funds will be expensed out over the coming years as we invest back into our community. Concerns regarding fraud and typical fraudulent schemes that we see were presented to the membership to remind them to be cautious in their financial transactions. Emily also noted the retirement of Nancy Ulrich on December 31st and the upcoming retirement of Diane Brody on March 31st, 2022. The entire staff were thanked for their professionalism and commitment with the many changes that have occurred over the last year. The supervisory committee report was read by Emily Goldberg. The committee members are Mary Jean Strand, Kathy Hale, and Connie Becker. The committee meets quarterly with monthly supervisory checks as needed. The audits were completed and find the credit union in good condition. Kurt called for old business. Hearing none, he closed the floor for old business. Kurt asked for new business. A question was presented to Kurt regarding the compensation of credit union board members. Kurt explained the federal regulation prohibits federally insured credit unions from compensating board members, and they act in a volunteer capacity. Hearing no new business, Kurt closed the floor for new business. With no other business, Marge Moore moved to adjourn the meeting with Phyllis Berry seconding the motion. Meeting adjourned at 1:27 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Patsy White, Secretary.
Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, could I get a motion to accept the minutes? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I guess with that, I will give your president's report for the last year. Grasslands Credit Union had a good year of performance in 2022. The credit union ended the year with a net income of $462,000 and total assets of $116 million. Total assets grew by $2.65 million, which was a 2.34% growth in asset size. Total assets continue to steadily grow year after year. Loan volume ended the year at $64 million, which was up $14.4 million, corresponding to a 29% increase from the previous year. Your credit union continues to find new members and added 301 new members in the 18 counties in our field of membership. At this time, I would like to thank all of our employees for their efforts to make the credit union successful. This past year, longtime Ag Loan Officer Diane Brody retired in the end of March, and I would especially like to thank her for her years of dedication to the credit union. Let's give all of our employees a round of applause for all they do. This past year, Grasslands completed our plan to bring a modern branch facility to the Baker community. The new Baker branch officially opened in April of 2022. We're excited to have a modern facility in this community that is fully staffed with a very knowledgeable crew. The Baker branch continues to grow and has been very well received by the area membership. Closing out the year, the board voted to approve a 0.75% share bonus dividend and a 0.75% loan interest refund. Your cooperative continues to function properly by providing dividends back to the members when the credit union does well. Another advantage of doing business with the credit union over a for-profit financial institution. A nominating committee of Gary Johnson, Patty Shipman, and Diane Brody was appointed by the board during the October meeting. The nominating committee nominated Cole Hinland and Dave Pulaski for their expiring board seats. Per bylaws, member nominating petitions from the membership were requested and no petitions were received. As such, Cole and David were re-elected by acclamation. With the recent financial industry news, with the failure of 2 banks this past week, I thought I would take a minute to share some information on the strength and good standing of Grasslands Credit Union. The credit union continues to be exceptionally strong position. Both management and the board of the credit union is committed to low-risk, financially conservative business practices. The credit union continues to be well capitalized with a net worth to total assets ratio of 13.62%. This is almost twice the regulatory minimum set by NCUA, and the Grasslands remains well capitalized. The loan officers continue to be The loan officers do an excellent job of understanding the risk of the loans that are written, as evidenced by a remarkably low loan delinquency. Delinquent loans to total loans at year-end was 0.07%, indicating very good credit quality on the loans on the books. The credit union also hired Brady Martz to complete an audit in June, which found no material concerns. Also, the NCUA completed an exam during December, which indicated that there was no significant findings. After the exam, the credit union remains on an extended exam cycle of 18 months versus the standard 12 months, which is only afforded to credit unions with overall low-risk attributes. Grasslands remains a very strong, well-managed credit union that is well-positioned for stable long-term success. Here's looking forward to continued progress of your credit union, and I'd be willing to address any questions you might have. All right, seeing none, I will turn it over to Emily for the CEO report.
Thank you, Kurt. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out to our annual meeting. Member participation and interest is an important part of having a very successful financial cooperative. 2022 was another great year for us. We continued to experience growth in both asset size and member numbers, effectively reaching even more of the 18 counties in eastern Montana that we are chartered to serve. On your table, there's a few copies of our financial statements, and you are free to take them with you, and we can also provide more to you upon request. And I will go through some of the highlights of it very shortly. As a reminder, our monthly financials are posted in the lobby of each of our locations, usually by the 10th of the month. And then I would just like to note that additional, more in-depth information is available publicly on the National Credit Union Administration website in the form of quarterly call reports. These are detailed reporting documents that we provide to our federal regulatory agency. They include a breakdown of investments, member deposits, loan types, and all of the services available to our members. The NCUA then uses this information to monitor our quarterly performance, and like Kurt talked about, they will base our examination upon what we submit in these quarterly reports. And then also, as Kurt noted, they visit us in person every 12 to 18 months to perform an analysis of our risk profile with regards to the National Share Insurance Fund. The Share Insurance Fund is what provides each member relationship we have with up to $250,000 of share insurance coverage. Entities are generally covered up to $250,000, while personal accounts can have significantly more coverage depending on how many joint owners or beneficiaries there are on a particular account. Like the call reports, a share insurance estimator is available on the NCUA website that is free and available to anyone to use. We're also happy to help you fill the worksheet out if you would like assistance. And you can stop in any time and I can give you instructions on how to get to this information. Again, it's all publicly available. We try to be as transparent as possible. I bring all of this up to remind you that the credit union system, and Grasslands in particular, is safe, secure, and insured. We have thoughtful and meaningful conversation amongst employees, board members, supervisory committee members, our regulators, and an independent accounting firm on a regular basis to ensure that we are making the soundest financial decisions and policy decisions in the best interest of our membership. Our financials and quarterly reporting show that we are well capitalized and have a low risk profile because of the investment and lending decisions we make. Again, the financials are on your table. I'm just going to go through it very briefly here. So on the asset side, total investments at the end of the year were just over $45 million. The investments are down from the prior year due to our loan growth that we had to fund, which is a good thing. Our policy limits our investment pools to those that are very conservative, the majority of them being insured investments in other regulated financial institutions. When you get down to the bottom of the loans, again, our loan balance was just over $64 million, a growth of just over 29% from the prior year. Flipping to the liability side of things, you will see on there other borrowed funds. That's not technically a borrowing, it's accrued interest that we pay to other credit unions for participation loans. Other liabilities that fluctuates daily based on our electronic transactions. Member shares were over $100 million, a growth of 2.5% from the year prior. And our total equity was just over $15 million, which Kurt noted represents approximately 14% of our total asset size. On the income and expense side of things, interest on loans was up $170,000 to just over $2.6 million. This was due not only to loan growth, but also to market changes that repriced our loan pool. I would like to note that we do our best to maintain a fair loan rate schedule that is extremely competitive within our market. We do monthly pricing of that. Investment income was up $172,000, again due to market fluctuations. Interest expense also up, and again, similarly to loans, we do monthly pricing on our share rates to ensure that we are offering our membership a fair and competitive rate on everything that they choose to deposit and invest with us. Provision for loan loss. This isn't actually representative of loan loss, rather it's a set aside based on current loan balances and predicted future risk. Non-interest income, this is something that fluctuates every year. And then non-interest expenses, I won't go through each line item, but I will note that we kept the increase fairly stable with just 3.5% on non-interest expenses. And now for my annual reminder to everyone. I'm not just reminding a few of you of certain ages, I'm reminding everybody. Fraud is alive and well in our world, and we see that it often hits closer to home than we like. In the past year, we have seen it affect people from ages 18 on up. It does not just affect the elderly, which is what many people assume. It can affect you whether you are a teenager, or a mother in your 30s with young children, or a single 20-year-old, or a retired farmer. The moment you say, "It will never happen to me," could be the moment that someone gets the best of you. Fraud arrives via text, via Facebook, through dating websites, through the mail, and through cash apps, just to name a few. It usually involves a compelling story of romance or of promises that funds will be returned to you in multiples if you just wire somebody a few $1,000s and help them out. Please don't fall for it. And please, when we warn you that a particular transaction you are requesting from us seems suspect, take a moment to consider what we're saying. We're not trying to pick on you. We're looking out for your best interests. And me and our staff, we talk regularly on this. We talk about the latest trends that we're seeing. And we talk about conversations that we can have with our members. So don't assume that somebody's just trying to give you a hard time if they say, "Are you really sure you want to do this transaction?" We're just trying to look out for the best interest of you. And I also know that on your table there's 1 or 2 packets that say "Don't Fall Victim." This is an excellent brochure that comes from our insurance company. I would really encourage you to read it. We can easily get you more copies of this, but please take a moment to read this and see about all of the different types of fraud that are out there. Thank you again for coming out to your Financial Cooperative's annual meeting, and thank you to our staff for the excellent job that they do year-round in providing you with great service and looking out for the well-being of the financial resources that you entrust us with. We do appreciate all that you do for us. And now I will move on to the Supervisory Committee report. Supervisory Committee members are Kathy Hale, Mara Jean Strand, and Connie Becker. The Supervisory Committee is a volunteer board appointed annually by the Board of Directors. Our duties include monitoring board and management actions, overseeing financial management, and having an outside audit completed on all credit union operations. The accounting firm Brady Martz was hired to complete our year-end 2021 supervisory audit, ACH audit, and Bank Secrecy Act audit. They were completed as of December 31st, 2021. The NCUA conducted an examination of Grasslands, with the most recent one being completed effective September 30th, 2022. Our committee meets quarterly at the credit union to review financial statements, income and expense reports, delinquency reports, and new and closed accounts. We have completed monthly surprise cash counts on all teller drawers and the vault operations. We as a committee are pleased to report that your credit union is in good hands and running smoothly with a positive net income and is well capitalized. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the staff for the good work that they do and the cooperation that they provide to us as members of the Supervisory Committee. Respectfully submitted, Kathy Hale, Chairperson.
All right, Dana, do we have some door prizes?
All right, I'm going to read off some door prizes. We have cash prizes this year. Please be seated or stay seated while I call your name. I'll have the ladies in the back come and give you your cash.
Okay, at this time, I'd ask if there's any old business? Any old business? Any old business? All right, is there any new business? Any new business? Any new business? All right, I think that concludes our meeting. I thank everyone for coming. I would just ask for a motion to adjourn. Up front, we got a motion, a second. And a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Vote opposed? All right, motion carried. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.